Growing up in Wales, Dr. Tristan Gruffy didn't think much about whether or not his country should be independent. It maybe pondered it, but it was something in the distance, not something you'd really discuss in the mainstream, he said. The doctor's experience is the norm. But the conclusions of a new independent commission's report into the constitutional future of Wales have changed that. I certainly think it's become more realistic now, he said. People have started discussing the potential realistic routes and different politics that might come out of it. The report said independence was a viable option and even went so far as to claim it could be the best way to ensure Wales thrives in the future. Unsurprisingly, the report has opened up a Pandora's box and raised far more questions than it answered. Here, Express speaks to those at the heart of Welsh politics working for and against a break with the Union, who all believe they know what is best for the country's future. The Independent Commission was set up by the Welsh Government in 2021 off the back end of a Labour Senedd election manifesto pledge. It is co-chaired by Professor Laura McAllister and former Archbishop of Canterbury Dr. Rowan Williams and includes a panel of figures from the four main parties in Wales. Plaid Cymru is the only mainstream party in Wales that openly supports independence, and currently works in a cooperation agreement in the Senedd with Welsh Labour. For the party's leader, reaIIy, the report's findings were welcome. It's groundbreaking, he said. It now gives us different contexts for the debate, that Wales can be a nation which molds its priorities better. The report said independence would help Wales unlock its economic potential and break free of a business-as-usual model. Yet, this would, it said, mean hard choices in the short to medium term, especially on economic policy. Mr. Iorwerth pointed out that these hard choices were also present in the other options put forth, enhanced devolution and the federal UK, and at its clearest, it describes the choices an independent Wales could make about the economy as being the strongest tool for future economic growth. While the Welsh Government controls areas like health and social care, housing, local transport, education and local government, the likes of foreign affairs, defence, most taxation, the bulk of benefits, and economic policy are in the hands of the UK government in Westminster. It is hard to imagine what those aspects of government would look like in Wales, for the country has never had control over them. But Mr. Iorwerth, people say these economic issues make independence unviable, but the UK isn't able to pay for itself, the UK has debt, so we would go into a period where a newly independent Wales would, too, have debt, he said. We would work through that using the economic levers we'd now have at our disposal, and I think the best way to do that would be to have our own currency. It's one of our biggest problems in Wales. We don't have a treasury. This week after a lobbying campaign, councils in England were able to secure a £600 million support package from the government. Councils in Wales cannot do the same lobbying with the Welsh Government because it doesn't have its own treasury. It is, Mr. Iorwerth argues, just one example of how Wales is undermined in the Union. Having that treasury and having our own currency would give us more flexibility in growing the economy, he said. It would give us powers to create jobs, to tackle poverty. From this, he said, a whole host of opportunities would present themselves and enable Wales to overcome the initial adversity independence would create. It would also enable Wales the power to control domestic events, like the fallout from the Tata Steel site in Port Talbot. The UK government was at the heart of this failure. While the devolved government had an important role to play, the scale of strategic investment for it lay with Westminster,